2. And welcome back, everybody, to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, along with former Jags player, current MMA fighter,
former
Mina
Chiefs
Kimes,
player.
former Chiefs player.
Super
Bowl week. Sorry to get, I didn't get that in.
It's all good,
Send
Brent.
him a cheeseburger or some barbecue.
Let's go.
Yeah, the only person with more titles than you is our next guest, Mina Kimes. And you also have something else in common, by the way. Murray State is what? The Ivy League of...
No, it's the public Ivy League.
Public Ivy League?
It's the public Ivy League of the country. It was, not anymore.
Anybody who listens to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, they better feel smarter after this week. We had
Better
Sarah
believe
Spain on from Cornell,
Yes.
Max Kellerman from Columbia, and now Mina Kimes, Yale. It's Ivy League week. And, of course, you from Murray State.
Public, baby.
Mina, good to have you on. Make us smarter.
Thanks for having me. That's a lot of pressure, Bill. I'll do my best.
Mina Kimes will be on NFL Live, by the way, today with Laura Rutledge, Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky, coming up at 4 o'clock on ESPN NFL Live on the way. All right, everybody's talking about the Super Bowl. We're a couple days away. We asked a question today because I think it's fascinating to look at Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Who's the better quarterback in this game? Who would you go with?
Patrick Mahomes. Easy.
Simple as that?
No question.
Yeah, not
easy.
You can't look at the resume. He's just playing better. You know what? We did a poll question. It's kind of shaking out that way. Is this all about those two guys to you, or is there an underlying storyline that maybe everybody else is missing hyping up this game?
Well, I hate quarterback head-to-heads because quarterbacks play defenses. But in some ways, I would say it's definitely about Mahomes insofar as if it was any other quarterback behind that offensive line, which is backups across the board except for at center, they'd probably lose against a very good Bucs pass rush that doesn't really need to blitz. But Mahomes is the reason why they're favored, and the reason why the combination of him, Kelsey, and Hill is really so unstoppable, even with shoddy protection. On the other side of the football, I think it's a little bit more complicated, and it's really a chess match. It's almost Steve Spagnuolo, who, as I'm sure you've heard 100 times, has a winning record against Brady, not something you hear every day. Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to see what sort of changes he's made versus Week 12, if any, when he blitzed Brady a ton and had a lot of success doing so. In that game, you saw Brady, combined with Leftwich and Arians, make some adjustments as the game went on, particularly with their protection schemes. And I think that's going to be the key to the game on that side of the football, whether or not the Bucs have learned some of the lessons of Week 12 and, can play more like they did towards the end of the season.
Mina, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes and obviously Tom Brady being the GOAT. Like, it seems like right now there's an importance at the quarterback position. And when we talk about Deshaun Watson, whether a team wants to give up 4 first-round picks or 5 first-round picks, like there's a premium right now, and teams are probably running to the altar to get their Deshaun Watson. With that being said, though, do you think it's worth it right now in the landscape of the NFL to spend that much on a quarterback? Because I remember a couple years ago, I saw a guy by the name of Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. So do you think, like, we're hitting 5 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Do you buy into that narrative, or is that too much?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the thing about Nick Foles is he was on like an ungodly run. It wasn't like the Eagles carried him to that Super Bowl. He was playing out of his mind for the entire postseason. And then he came back to earth and went back to being Nick Foles. But it's not like they had substandard quarterback play. It's very, very hard to make it deep into the playoffs unless you have one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just where it is. And you saw the Saints hit a wall because of their quarterback play this year, for example, despite having, I believe, the best defense left in the playoffs. If I'm one of the teams that's actually in a position to get Watson, and it's complicated by his no trade clause, I pull the trigger. I mean, Jacksonville, where y'all are, is in an interesting spot because I think that's one of the teams where Houston would love to do that deal, and they're actually maybe the only team where it's marginal, where you're choosing between Trevor Lawrence and that rookie contract versus Watson, the proven player, and I really think you can make a case either way. But every other team in the NFL, minus 4, should do whatever it takes to get Deshaun Watson.
ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes with us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. One more football question, and then I don't know where Austin's going to take you here, but who knows? We never know where
we
that
always
goes.
go off the rails.
Hey, Urban Meyer reminds me, this move by the Jags and Shad Khan remind me of what Seattle did with Pete Carroll. And I understand Pete Carroll had some NFL experience, but Pete Carroll gets hired. He hires the GM. It's really Pete Carroll's organization. Do you sense a little bit of a comparison there, and do you think it can work in Jacksonville with Urban?
Yeah, the comparison makes sense. The college success, some of the college red flags, quite frankly, share that as well. I think with Jacksonville, to me, actually, there's probably more of a question at the GM position. Schneider was coming from Green Bay, and he had a lot of success there. So I think it was a very successful formula. We've seen that a lot in the NFL. If you can get a head coach and GM on the same page, building together, because of course, in particular with college head coaches, team building in NFL it's a lot harder because you're not going into some recruit's living room and trying to convince them mom, So you do really need a front office that can kind of compensate for some of your inexperience there. But Jacksonville, they've got so much ammunition, cap space, draft picks, and they've got such a clear timeline. That makes in some ways a little easier than what Seattle was dealing with because they're so obviously rebuilding.
Talking to Mina Kimes of ESPN. All right, Mina, I got a couple quick hitters then, and then we're going to get kind of weird here a little bit. But first question, color commentary for the Rams. How fun was that doing that job, and it's something that you want to pursue maybe further down the line?
It was a blast, and it was also really fascinating for me personally because I was calling John Wolford. The Rams don't play any of their starters, and then he ended up playing a key role for the Rams this season. So I got to – yeah, everybody was like, hey, who's this guy? And I was like, hey, I know. Everyone, I'm the only person on earth who's watched every John Wolford down in the NFL. It was a blast, but I'm happy where I am at NFL Live.
All right, you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. I think you were a Supersonics fan back in the day. You have some ties to Seattle with your father. With that being said, Seattle Kraken. Are we on board with that team name, or should we go in a different direction? Because I suggested Seattle Grunge, but what are your thoughts?
It's definitely better than the grunge. I'll say that.
Wow.
I'm not a hockey person. I'm not going to front, but I do like the colors that they went with in the logo. It looks pretty cool. I do want one of those hats.
You just knocked down Austin Lane because he loved the grunge.
I love the grunge. I thought we had something there.
I mean,
Kurt Cobain, man, Seattle's known for grunge music. All right, third question.
Like the grunge? Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's hockey. Grunge, filthy. I feel like
stinky locker room.
I played hockey. I know it's rough there. All right, Mina, the final question. Have you seen the movie Billy Madison?
Of course.
Okay, fantastic. We're off to a good start here. All right, so by my understanding, you work for Bloomberg and Fortune magazine for a little bit, correct?
That's right, yeah.
All right, so if you remember in Billy Madison, there was an academic decathlon. In the last event, they asked a question regarding business and business ethics. The antagonist, Eric, answered the question wrong. He kind of stumbled a little bit, freaked out, and he lost a decathlon, in turn losing the hotel business, and it goes to Billy Madison. I'm going to ask you the question that was asked to Eric, and I want to hear your business answer if you can do any better, okay?
God.
Are you ready for this?
I don't remember the question.
Well, here we go. I think we have that question right here for you, Mina. The American business environment has fundamentally changed following the insider trading and savings of loan scandals. Explain business ethics and how they are applied today.
First of all, I'd like to say this is by far the weirdest question I've ever been asked by a local sports radio station. So I'm impressed.
That's
really.
what I specialize in.
I'm actually pretty blown away, and I get asked some pretty weird stuff. But I would say a lack of ethics in business defines the landscape in American capitalism today, and that's certainly something that's playing out at the moment.
Not bad.
Very good.
Hotel
business?
I think she got the hotel business.
Have I made you guys so dumber, and God have mercy on your souls, to quote Billy Madison?
That's almost impossible to make us dumber, quite frankly. Mina Kimes, NFL analyst from ESPN. Join her today, of course, with Laura Rutledge, Marcus Spears, Dan Orlovsky in Tampa. NFL Live on ESPN. It starts at 4 o'clock. It's Monday through Friday at 4 o'clock as well. Mina, thanks for joining us and taking some time. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
See you, Mina Kimes, on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Really one of the coolest resumes. Talk to some folks this week. Again, all Ivy Leaguers, by the way. I thought ESPN was like something I could dream about as a kid, and now you need an Ivy League resume.
I think you need Ivy. Hey. I'm sitting pretty right now, man. That public Ivy League, I'm telling you.
Unbelievable.
Murray State coming through. It's crazy.
That does surprise me a little bit, but a lot of smart people, but cool careers. Like if you look back at the folks that we talked to this week, some fascinating careers along the way. Mina Kimes, Sarah Spain, Max Kellerman, who still is with a lot of people knew him initially from boxing, has now gone all sports with First Take in his own radio show on ESPN, and still covers boxing too. So pretty wild.
Listen, what happened to Syracuse? I thought like Syracuse was like the big journalism school to get into ESPN and stuff. Like Syracuse kind of an afterthought now, huh?
Orange shoe.
Yeah, the orange shoe, man.
Exactly. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.